Vice President Kamala Harris is in battleground Pennsylvania right now, taking a jab at her opponent, former President Donald Trump, as she delivered a wide-ranging speech on the economy.
You see, for Donald Trump, our economy works best if it works for those who own the big skyscrapers, not those who actually build them, not those who wire them, not those who mop the floors.
Some of what Vice President Harris vowed to do if she's elected is to cut taxes for more than 100 million Americans, lower income ones, build 3 million new homes and rentals, and double the amount of apprenticeships, she says. Let's bring in one of the world's most recognizable entrepreneurs and investors, Mark Cuban. Mark, thanks for joining. So a recent CNN poll shows there remain doubts among voters about how Vice President Harris will handle the economy. Among likely voters, 50% trust former President Trump more to handle the economy. Only 39% trust Harris. And for all the concerns that are top of mind for voters, 41% of voters say the economy is the most important issue. This is one of the reasons why this race remains so close. Why do you think she's struggling so much to close the deal on this issue?
I don't think she's struggling at all. It just takes time. She's been in the race, 45, 50 days? She went from having horrible favorability polling to, lack of recognition. But in those 45, 50 days, she's turned it completely around. Donald Trump really is the one that should be worried. When it comes to the economy, she was 20, 30 points behind 45 days ago. Now the trend is her friend and she's catching up. And I think her speech today went a long way to really convey to voters that she is pro-business, that she wants to partner with businesses, that she wants to incent businesses. Look at Donald Trump. He's threatening one of the most legendary companies in America, John Deere, with 200% tariffs that would make buying from China cheaper than buying from John Deere. That's insane. So he's looking to just beat down American companies, while Vice President Harris is saying, look, we want to work with you. I want to talk to you. I want to learn from you. I want to incent you to continue to grow. I want to help you incorporate new technologies like AI and blockchain and others so that we can compete better. I'm a big fan, and I think as more people learn that she truly is pro-business and about more of her policies, I think that 39% will grow considerably.
So you circulate with a lot of people who are probably Trump voters, I would guess, with your ties to Texas and your, wallet. There are a lot of people who are in Trump's camp. What do you say to them? What do they say to you about why they are voting for Trump?
Well, the first thing now, I've talked to a lot of friends who are Trump fans, and they initially would say, well, I haven't heard her speak. I don't know if she can stand up to scrutiny. I don't know her policies. And what I've always told them is, be patient, right? As long as you know as long as you hear from her what you need to hear before you walk into the ballot booth, that's all that matters. You've got 40 days, and I think she's going to do a lot more communicating like she did today to explain to them that she's pro-business, that she can think on her feet, that she's responsive, that she's thorough, she's not impulsive like Donald Trump. She thinks through her policy. She's very deliberate. And I think business people and I think voters in Texas and across the country are going to start to really recognize that that's a huge positive over somebody who just invents new tax policy because he thinks it'll get a good cheer out of a crowd.
One of the areas where Trump is doing better than Harris and doing better than most Republicans is when it comes to connecting with young male voters. Trump goes out and he plays golf with Bryson DeChambeau. He shows up on the Theo Von's podcast. He meets up with Jake Paul, the boxer and former what was that called? Vine guy. How can Harris go after?
Vine.
How can Harris go after young male voters, not just white men, but black and Latino men, young male voters with whom Trump is really making gains?
Remember, the goal is to get the most number of votes and win the Electoral College. There's no trophy or participation trophy if you win male voters or any specific demographics. And I think what she's done to go out there and to communicate with people, it's working. As I mentioned earlier, she went from being miles behind to, on par or if not ahead across the country. So what she's doing is working. I don't think she has to win every demographic. Now that said, is she capable of winning those demographics? Absolutely. One of the things that really resonates with young men, and I have a 15-year-old son, is crypto. And she talked specifically about encouraging blockchain innovation and that was important to her and that she was going to be supportive of it. That's really important to young men. And I think as that message starts to get out more and more, it'll start to resonate with young men even more.
On a recent Harris campaign call, you compared policy proposals made by Trump to those from independent Senator Bernie Sanders, who's a socialist. What do you mean?
Well, it was a race for socialism, right? Bernie said that credit card companies should cap their interest rates at 15%. Donald Trump, being the socialist that he is, had to beat Bernie. So Donald Trump went out and recommended that interest rate caps be set to 10%. The fact that he's even suggesting price controls and price caps is socialism 101. You haven't heard that from the vice president. You have heard that from Donald Trump.
Well, then how do you interpret?
How
do you interpret what she's doing in terms of price gouging, taking on price gouging by food companies? Because a lot of critics have said that is a form of price controls.
I'm glad you asked me that, Jake, because taking on price gouging is not price controls. She's not saying what the price of tomatoes should be. What she's saying is when there's a crisis, and there will be other crises, there'll be hurricanes, there'll be tornadoes, there'll be floods, there'll be other disasters. And when those disasters happen, she wants to be in a position to be able to say, no, you can't jack up those prices by 40%. You have to stay within a particular realm, a particular guideline. And by the way, there are already 37 states that have similar guidelines. All she's doing is saying we're just going to make that a national law. So that's certainly not price caps or price controls at all. Donald Trump, on the other hand, is the king of price caps.